How you doing, everyone? Mahmoud Faisal Khatib, the bow tie attorney. Welcome to Two Bald Brokers and a Bow Tie, where properties meet punchlines, deals get tied, bald and brilliant. They know how to untangle hairy deals. I'm here with Dain Laverty,
Hola.
and Dain is with Property Pals, a wholesale company, and we've just been sitting here shooting the shit and chatting. And I'm like, dude, we got to start recording because this is fucking gold. So, if you don't know who I am, I'm the bow tie. Dain does a tremendous number of deals and has a very interesting history. I'm gonna say from Italy to
Italy to Hong Kong, Hong Kong to Chicago, Chicago to
right,
San Francisco.
and now you're doing real estate deals.
Yeah, now I'm doing real estate. Glutton for punishment.
Got it. So we were just chatting, and you were telling me about essentially we were going back and forth about Dain being a young guy, me being an old guy. I'm being Gen X. He's entitled millennial. And he was telling me this. What was it that your dad told you in Italy? Because that's
He
just
said,
fucking gold.
Dain, the world doesn't owe you shit, so you better get out there and work. The reason he had said that because when I was younger, we lived in Italy. I was like between the age of 10 and 13, and my dad used to travel to Bahrain a lot,
Yeah.
and so I would like see other people on base with these little cartouches. And so I'm like 11, 12 years
What's a
old.
cartouche?
A cartouche, it's like a little, it's basically like Egyptian or hieroglyphics. And they're like little pieces of your necklace. They said my name, right?
Got it. Okay. Okay.
So like I'd see like other people, like the enlisted guys, like would all have these cartouches. And I was like, damn, dude, they're so cool. Like,
Right.
and so like I went home to ask my dad, I was like, hey, Dad, next time you go to Bahrain, can you get me one? And he's like, you can get you one. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, you should get it to me. And he goes, Dain, the world doesn't owe you shit. So you better get out there and work. I walked my ass right down to the like maintenance store on base, and I like rented a lawnmower for the day.
Yeah.
And I got out there and I was cutting all the officers circle. I just go there like, hey, I need $10.
That's awesome.
And so I did that for
How
however
old
long.
are you?
I was probably like 10 and I was like 11 or 12.
Okay.
So I like, whatever. I'm like knocking on people's doors, like, hey, can I mow your lawn? Blah, blah, blah. Anyways, I come back, I got $140. I'm like, boom, get it for me. And he came back, and like everybody just had like the 2-dimensional ones, like front and back.
Mhm.
So when he brought me back, he brought me the 3-dimensional one. So I was flexing on everybody.
Right.
So
Right.
it was like,
You paid for.
I paid for it, right?
Right.
So like it was mine, and everybody's gonna see it. And like I think that's kind of like when work ethic really started to like kick in. I was like, oh, okay, you can just go out here and make money and buy stuff you want. That later spiraled into some bad spending habits. So I mean, there's two sides to the coin, but
Right.
obviously, time heals all wounds, and you learn things, and you kind of grow up and realize like, hey, we need to be responsible with our finances.
So you're a military brat.
Yeah, I'm a military brat. So yeah, my old man was in the military for 30 years.
Okay.
They were stationed in a bunch of places. We were stationed in Italy. They were stationed in Spain after that, and so I would go out and visit them. But he was like all over the East Coast, all over the West Coast. He was Navy, go Navy. And yeah, so when he retired, I went off to school, and
Where?
in San Francisco, went to SF State. Go Gators!
Go Gators.
Yeah, we were
That's
so
not the Florida Gators.
not the Florida Gators. No, no, no. It's like the only school that had 42,000 people, but no football team. So it was a commuter school, but I went because it was in the city of San Francisco,
Okay.
and to be honest, it was like the only school that accepted me. Well, it was the first school that accepted me because I took my parents to Chili's like one night when I was in high school, and I was like, hey, like I want to talk to you guys something. We sit down, and I go, listen, I've decided not to go to college. And my dad's like, great. Like
Military.
yeah, he's like, he's like, great. Like rent's gonna be $600. And I was like, what? He's like, well, you're not gonna live in my house for free. And I was like, I'm going to school. So I ended up going to school.
By the way, I just gonna say I love your dad.
Yeah, no, he is definitely a military dude through and through. Disciplined, massive introvert. He taught me some good lessons. Like as people, we're very different people.
You're not introverted?
Sometimes. He's definitely probably had he's been required to have more tolerance for me because I'm his kid, but I'm sure
Are you an
there's
only
moments.
child?
No, I have two younger sisters. One
Okay.
lives here in Chicago, and then the other lives in Australia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so she's like married to this genius out there, and so she's living her best life. She's crushing it. So I'm
What
happy.
part of Australia?
They live in the Gold Coast.
Oh, that's
So
nice.
yeah, the east, like Middle Eastern,
Yeah.
um,
Then right off
Middle East side.
the Great Barrier Reef is up there, right?
Great Barrier Reef is if you go further
Further
north.
north. Got it.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you go up to Cairns, and then like
Yes.
you can go out to the Great Barrier
Right,
Reef,
yeah, yeah.
like Osprey and all that stuff. I
Got it.
actually, so I lived in Australia for a year. Yeah, I lived in Australia for a year, and I lived in Cairns, and
Okay.
I lived in this house like with
How
all
old are you at
the.
this time?
It's 2012, so I'm probably 24, 20, 23, 24, 25, something like
Got it,
that.
got it.
And we go and I'm living in this house like these, I don't know, this like English dude, this like this English dude who like loves like young Asian women, this like French guy, this white French guy who's like just like raps 24/7.
Okay.
And then this like ginger biker guy from Ireland. So it's
And
like,
you.
and me, right? And so like I don't know, it's like one of those times like when I like looked around, I'm like, dude, this is crazy. Like I have all these personalities in the house, but they're all, the thing that had them all there is they were all like Patty dive instructors. And so they're like, hey, Dain, this person, like, they're not coming out on the trip this week. If you want to wash dishes all week, you can come and we'll take you out to the Great Barrier Reef and you can go and dive the reef for free. So I got to go dive the reef for free for a week. We did night dives, we did day dives.
That's awesome.
Yeah. You know, what was that movie? It was like, I think it was like all those kids, and then they put them into a place and they basically told them like, hey, only one of you can live. So like they all start killing each other.
Yes, it's a recent movie, like, in the last few years,
No,
wasn't
no,
it?
this is like a really old movie. Dude, the audience is gonna grill me for not knowing this. But like, anyways, we watched this classic. I'm like rinsing the dishes on the boat. Boat's like rocking. I'm like going side to side. Dude, the galley was a mess. But like, you know, I'd get done at like 1 or 2 in the morning, sleep, get up at 5 or 6 in the morning, like prep gear for everybody. But again, I was in like my young 20s. Like,
Right, that's
yeah, like
all day.
I needed like 2 hours of sleep and a beer, and I was
Right, that's it.
good to go.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it was but I think that's like kind of circling back, like that's kind of like when the work ethic began, and I just started figuring out like, oh, you can kind of hack your way through life, and not like you're a hack, but like figure out ways to be more
Right.
efficient
No, no, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
get things done. Like
You're
you know,
hacking life.
hacking life. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And so it's and again, it's been, that kind of transpired into, going to school. I ended up going to San Francisco State. I barely graduated college. I didn't negotiate with my finance professor to like give me a C plus because she gave me a D minus. I was like, dude, I know all the like, and she's like, yeah, but the stuff that you put on the answers on the quiz weren't in the book. I was like, come on, are you serious? And she's like, well, what do you need to graduate? I was like, I need a C plus. And she's like, okay, cool. So like, and then I got that, and I ended up like staying in San Francisco. I was like bartending for a little while. And then I went traveling around for a while, did like Southeast Asia and lived in Australia.
Living in different places, or are you just traveling? Or, like, it's like a
Well, no,
backpacking thing?
we like backpacked through
You say
Southeast Asia.
"we."
There was a girl that I was dating at the time.
Got it. So was a woman.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. No, she's listen, bless her heart, she's a great woman. She's doing her thing. But yeah, we're traveling around Southeast Asia. We're probably, I don't know, we're in Thailand for a few months. We're in Cambodia for a month. We're in Laos for a month. So like we weren't just like it wasn't a couple days. Like
Were you, like, working in each place to make money, or, like,
no, 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 no. I had saved up a ton of money before I left because I wanted to do this. So I had probably
Oh.
saved up like 30 or a ton of money, probably like 30 or 40 grand. And then just started like traveling around. So like each place that I got to,
That gets really, really far in fucking Thailand and
oh,
Southeast
and
Asia.
it's like
Totally.
in 2012, you could like, I remember it was great in Thailand. I'd go down to the beach. I'd buy pad thai from the street vendor for like 50 cents, and I'd buy a beer for like 25 cents. I'd be eating breakfast for less than $1, watching the sunrise, eat, go grab our boards, surf all day, or at least until like, I don't know, 10 or 11, then come back in, then just honestly do nothing. Like we would just do nothing. And that was my life for like 18 months.
Wow.
And that was awesome. So it was again, great time, had fun. But yeah, I guess like I said, kind of just like getting back to like the work ethic thing. I just always figured if you worked, it was always about working hard when I was like when I first kind of figured it out. Cause like, oh, the harder I work, the more money I'll make. And then as I got older and obviously like technology became a bigger role in
Right.
the workplace, like I was like, oh, you can work a lot smarter. And like that's when I was starting to think about like, oh, especially in our business now, it's like about prioritizing things. Like everything is important.
Yes.
But priorities are different than things that are important, right? Priorities push the envelope to getting to the next step. Important things are just things that you know you need to do. And so, like between figuring out what's important and what's a priority, like then you can start to delegate because
What's the difference? Like, I mean, tell me
like
when
it's
you say push the envelope or push. What are you talking about?
yeah. So like when like something that's what's important. Important is making sure that payments are going out on time. Important is making sure that you're keeping your funnel, your pipeline going. Important is making sure that your marketing is going out every week. Priority is like looking at, you know, what our pipeline looks like and what's the amount of money that we need to close in a specific month to meet our obligations for next month. So we need to figure out like who do we need to talk to? We need to go get village stamps. That's a priority. We need to go, get an estimate redemption. That's a priority. And so,
So what's essentially the difference? Important is the shit that needs to get done,
right,
and the priority is what gets you to that next stage.
right is what allows you to get things done, right? Like you need
What
to,
brings in the money?
yeah, what brings in the money? Like you need to prioritize things that are important. But like at the end of the day, it's really kind of coming and saying, okay, listen, this is all the things I have to do. This is what's going to get us paid because nobody does this stuff because they like to do it unless you have so much money and this is your passion. And if that's the case, like God bless you. Um, I have a passion for this, but I also need to do it because I need to work to live.
Right.
But it's we've been around. I mean, this is our 5th year in business. It's been our hardest year in business. Like this year has been
Yeah,
like
you were saying that earlier. It's
yeah,
been a tough year.
yeah, it's been like a huge punch in the gut, like, and it hasn't been fun. Like, I think I looked at our books in like May, and we were like negative $170,000 on the year, and it's like the year before we did 2.5 million bucks, right?
Cash
So
flow.
cash flow.
I mean, like
No,
you
no, no, no.
negative
Gross.
170
No,
profitability or one
no,
negative
no, no,
170
no. We did 2024. We did just under 2.5 gross profit, or sorry, gross revenue.
revenue, gross revenue,
Um,
top line.
yeah, and then probably like about 20% EBITDA. And then this year we were flush last year. So we're like, hey, let's renovate the office. Let's like get into these flips. Like, let's do this. And our core business has always been wholesaling. And so we finally did too much. Like we were spread too thin. Contractors needed to be paid. We were trying to hire people on. We had so like at one point we had like 35 deals in the pipeline and like they weren't good deals, right? So like now our transaction coordinator's running around for stuff, and now like closing, and it's just like everything happened at once, right?
It's
And
harder to close the same deals that were easier to close last year.
yeah, and just because there's more stuff going on, I also noticed that like deals this year are harder. Like there's just more stuff. We've worked together on deals, and like I know you.
You mean the divorce from 1976 that we got to figure out how to untangle?
Yeah, listen, I mean it's bigger the problem, bigger the payday.
I
So
agreed.
so it's like I think we grew to a point where I think we got, our eyes were a little bit bigger than our pockets. And like I said, we've been paying for it. And, we're now finally at a place. We looked at the books yesterday and we're now finally at a place like where I don't think we're out of it yet, but I definitely think like there's a very clear path. Like at this point, it's just execution. It's like, okay, great. The pipeline's stable. Dude, last week we sent out, or 2 weeks ago, we sent out marketing. We spent about 10 G's a week in mailers. I think we got 2 leads.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And like, and I mean, that matters, because that's basically, we went 2 weeks without any new leads. And so, like, it's like, hey, well, what are we going to do? It's like, hey, guys, we're going to start pulling out closed lost opportunities. We're going to go back and we're going to look at dispositions for leads that, maybe it wasn't the right time to sell, or maybe they wanted too much money. And so like we're going back through there and we're hitting it, right? And so like when I'm talking about priority, our priority was to reach call volume. Like call volume was our only priority last week,
Right.
because with call volume, we're going to get conversations, and with conversations, we're going to get conversions.
Are you cold calling the leads that you're mailing to?
We have a company called Lamasu Leads that does it, and they're based out of Colombia. If you want a promo code, hit me up.
Okay.
But yeah, they make about like 60,000 calls a month. So whatever that breaks down to.
What are they? Just curious.
So we have predictive data from Audantic, and we pulled data from Ilflis. We pull like expired stuff on the MLS, and then we send it out to them, and then they
just make calls.
they just make calls. They're bilingual, so we operate in counties that are Chicago
Primary
has a big
Hispanic community, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
So Spanish is critical. I think Spanish is also like a hack. Like knowing a second language is a superpower,
It really is.
and especially in large metropolitan areas like this that have like very multicultural makeup of people who are buying and selling. Like it's important to be able to connect with those because we've been able to pull a lot of value from the like Hispanic community.
Do you have Spanish speaking inside your office as well, or
Yeah,
just the
I'd
just
say
the
half
cold
of them are
call? That's awesome.
I actually just started Spanish lessons last week. So
Because you're married to a
I'm married to
Latina.
married to a Puerto Rican Glee lover. But yeah, I was on vacation 2 weeks ago with her, and her aunts are just like going at it, and I'm just sitting there, like, I can be funny, like I can
I know I
contribute
can
to
play
this.
into this.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah, yeah.
right.
But I can't because like I don't know what's going on. So like that's kind of like where things hit, and I was like, oh okay, like it was
So
like
let me tell you. Let me tell you
boom.
the secret on that.
Yeah,
Right, when you're in the Latina relationship,
yeah.
right, you just need to know like those choice words,
Mm-hmm.
and you got to drop them at the right fucking time. Right, like there's a word in the Cubans use coño. I don't know if you're familiar with coño.
No.
Coño,
Yeah.
and it means like fuck,
Yeah.
fuck you. It
Yeah.
means like I can't believe this. That's awesome. Like
Yeah.
it's got like 50 different things.
Yeah.
And so I have dropped coño in Miami, and people like flip their heads like what the fuck? They're like losing their shit just
The
because
timing needs to be right.
it is. It is totally. So you just need to find those choice little phrases that you drop.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm looking to get like a little bit deeper into the
Yes.
lexicon of
Yes.
the Spanish language. But like, yeah, I mean, we have people in our office that have our office speak Spanish. And so they do the cold calling for us. They're able to reach out and like generate deals. And then mailing is the other big one we did. I was telling you earlier, like the beginning of the year, we were doing mail, we were mail, TV, Google ads, cold
PPC. Yeah,
calling.
and the PPC
Yeah, the
ads, the cold
PPC.
calling.
And it's like, I looked up one day and like, dude, we're spending $80,000 a month. And I was like, wow, like our overhead was just insane. And I was like, and we weren't converting.
Is your ROI better? Your ROI wasn't even any better
Dude,
than it was last year.
we ran negative on TV like the first 3 months. So we stopped it. And so like it got to a point where I was like, I was so stressed out one week. Like this is the first time this ever happened to me, but like I had a panic attack. I was like, I had to go lay down in bed and like breathe. And I can like I find myself being able to handle like high degrees of stress. So
Of course.
like it had gotten to me. And it was probably like in like April or May.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And I just broke. I was like, dude, I can't do this anymore. So like I called my partner. I was like, we're cutting everything. I was like, I don't give a shit. The only thing that I care about is making sure that we're hitting payroll and everybody else can wait.
I've had that conversation many a time in my career.
Yeah, and and again, like I'm not looking at like, oh, like this is a failure, like da 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 da. It was like, no, we just pushed too far, too hard. Like we got away from our core business. And again, it happens. Like we're getting amazing deals, so sometimes it feels foolish not to try that.
Right.
And we ran into this our first or second year in business, but it was different because
Smaller.
we're smaller and like there wasn't as much responsibility, as much overhead. But
You had less to lose.
we had less to lose, but we also didn't have much to start. Right? Like we didn't have a lot of money. Like when I first started real estate, it was like 2000. Like I partnered up with my now partner Sam. We kind of made it official in January of 2021, but I met him in August. And I remember he walked in the first day and he had an eye patch on. Yeah, because like he had a detached retina.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he had surgery. And like I didn't know any of this because him and I had been talking on the phone for like weeks prior. And like I was like, damn, I vibe with this guy. Like he seems to get it. Like he has the same goals as I
Right.
do. Like we have like a very like aligned mission on what we're trying to accomplish. And so like he walks in the door of the office with an eye patch on, and the first thing I thought was like, I've hit rock bottom. And so like, here we are like 5 years later, and things are great, but like it's definitely like we didn't have a lot. I think we made $30,000 in the first like 4 months that we did real estate, and there was 3 of us like working on it.
Jesus.
And then the next year in 2021, like we'd close a deal like every other month up until August, and then we started closing regularly. And like we doubled our our gross revenue in 21 to 22 to 23, almost in like 24. And then like this year, again, like like going from doubling our revenue every year to
Matching?
no, to like I'll be stoked if we get to where
You did last year.
we did last year. I think we could probably do a little bit better, but like this year was about learning, right? Like so every year at the beginning of the year, I go into my phone and I say like, hey, like this is, or at the end of the year, I say, hey, like this is what this year was about. Like this was the takeaway, and then I'll write for the next year. This is what I want this year to be about. And so yeah, this year is like not gone at all how I planned it. We do have a brand new office, which is absolutely gorgeous. I love it, and that's like kind of is going to make us take ourselves more seriously. But like again, it's
Where's your office located?
California and Diversity in Logan
Okay.
Square. And so we now that is done, we finally have like I said, kind of caught up on things. And so now my strict focus is like now that we've peeled everything back, is it's just marketing and training. Like I'm gonna work with the sales team to make sure that they're actively listening, that they're hearing things that aren't said, that they are like
Have you thought about doing any of the sales training programs that are out there to help train your staff? And
yeah. So we have we use the John Martinez framework.
okay,
So like problem questions, impact questions, picture perfect questions. And then
did you take that training, or did you have your team take the
I
training?
mean, everybody took the training. Actually, I mean, I've taken a bunch like Sandler's and
You did Sandler.
yeah, Sandler, Challenger Sale, like a bunch of that stuff. Kind of because I grew up professionally, I kind of grew up in tech sales. So like they made you do all that stuff. And
Which one
so
do you like the best?
I liked Challenger Sale, even though I never could during the time I could never find myself challenging anybody.
Right.
It wasn't like until I got older, and like probably like when I was like 33, 30, 33, yeah, like yeah, 32, 33, I worked at a company called Ritual, and like I traveled all over the world to work with them, and like that's when I think I finally like things clicked for me because I think a lot of the times when people are selling stuff, like they're really like it's not them selling it. Like they're selling something that they were told to sell. And so like here's the benefits, here's this, here's that. Um and really it's like until you're comfortable being yourself and like I've grown so that like when sellers kind of tell me things, like I can now feel comfortable calling them on their bullshit and or even buyers too like what are you talking about? Whereas like before I'd be like, somebody would say something, like, oh no, I don't this accounting doesn't work like this. And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, it doesn't. But if you make it work like that, then and it's just like pivoting on your toes. Whereas like today, it's like, hey, no, you're not correct, and this is why I don't think you're correct. But like, if you can share something that maybe like how you're seeing it, like I'm open to listening.
Right.
So it's like much more of a dialogue. Sales is really just like a dialogue, and so the it's just kind of like getting
It's
a team.
authenticity.
It's authenticity.
Stop selling. Be authentic.
Yeah, and it's like, I think people hear that and they're like, "Oh yeah, well, how do I be authentic?" And I think a lot of people too is like, I think that it's like part of it's like a maturity thing, and I think the other part is like how serious do you take yourself? And I think a lot of people like don't take themselves as seriously as they think they do. Um, and there's a show called Billions that came out.
Love Billions.
Or no,
The one where they're
what was the other one with the
the
media,
redheaded guy?
no, the media conglomerate.
Oh, Succession.
Succession. So in like the
Another
season,
great fucking show.
yeah. So in this finale of Succession, they're like calling the kids in because like the family's finally going to sell the company, and he looks at the kids and he goes, "You are not serious people," and he's like, "That's why I haven't given it to you because you guys aren't serious people. You guys are." Running around thinking things are owed to you, making stupid mistakes. He's like, you guys aren't serious people. And I think like that's kind of like how sales is like once you start to get into like really high production sales, is it's like you need to be like serious and like you need to be thoughtful and you need to like people looking at you as more of a partner than a salesperson.
Right.
I think that's kind of where the success comes for high performing sales teams. And then I mean, then other things, pipeline management, lead quality, stuff like that. Like people
But at the core,
at the core, it's like you need to be a thought partner with somebody, not a salesman. Because like, and then I was telling one of the guys on our team, Drew, yesterday, I was like, you can buy. I was like, we're buying houses. Most people are selling whatever computer chips. Like our sale is different because we're buying. Like we're not having to go out here and like tell you why our product is good. You're actually having to tell us why your product is good.
Right.
So I was like, how we frame this is like, hey, listen, like I have a budget each month and I need to be able to hit this budget so that I can get more budget next month. And so, I think sometimes when somebody's selling the house, like, well, oh yeah, you can spend as much money as you want with me. It's like, well, no, I only have a certain amount per unit. And so like I need to be within this threshold because now it like creates this dialogue between people, between you and the seller, where you're like, hey, I have money, but like I need to be at this. I can very much get it done.
You want something now or nothing.
Yeah, and it's like I can work with you, right? And listen, I'd love to give you as much money as I could for the house, but you know, my money's kind of funny. No, I'm just kidding. But
Right,
like,
right.
but like, but I only have a certain budget that I can work within. So
And there's also layers to it.
yeah,
So we didn't really talk about what your business model is, right? So tell us a little bit about what is your business model? What is it that you're doing? And it's Property Pals, right?
right, yeah. So for Property Pals USA, we're like I said, based in Chicago. We wholesale property. That's our core business.
What does that mean?
So we buy and sell real estate contracts, meaning that we go to sellers and we get a contract for their house to sale, and then we take that contract and we sell it to an end investor for a markup. And all of this is done within the escrow period, and then we get paid out at the end of the escrow period the balance between what we sold it for and what we bought it for.
Okay.
And so we probably do anywhere between like 80 to 100 of these a year.
And so when you were talking about pipeline, you're talking about find sellers
Mhm.
who want to sell their houses
Yeah,
and then turning around, getting them an offer, locking them into a contract.
correct.
And then you turn around and take that contract and you sell it
Mhm.
to an investor or someone wants to come in and buy it.
Mhm.
And the spread that you need to create is you got to not only pay the seller, but you have to, and really you're looking at from it's the end ARV.
Correct.
Post rehab ARV is where your starting point is.
Yeah, or whatever it will appraise out for.
Whatever it is, right?
Yeah,
So you're looking at that final number, and then from there you got to back it all the way down to get to the number that you're going to buy the property at.
correct.
What that price is, what you estimate the investor needs to make for their money, what it's going to cost for the rehab, and all that is just taking dollars off that top line,
Correct.
all the way down to how much money you want to make in the deal in terms of how much you put into it.
Correct.
And then from there, expenses and costs, and then that's what's left for the seller.
Correct. Yeah, and like I don't know, there's two ways to look at this. Some people are like, "Oh, you're out here, lowballing people and da 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 da." And I think sure, like that's how you want to look at it. Like the other way, I guess, kind of how we see it is like, so there's a big thing in our office is lead with empathy, right? Like our mission is, helping people help themselves, and a lot of these people, like,
These aren't people who have a shit ton of equity and they're fine and they just want to sell their property like a normal house. These are
no,
distressed assets.
yeah, these are distressed assets, right? Or like these are people who are like in really tough situations, and like they're stoked that they can get something out of this.
And just to clarify, when we're talking about distressed, like people who are in tough situations, it's not
Mhm.
like someone who's like who's in I mean, you have the people who are in foreclosure and
Sure.
struggling and trying to make money and they just need to make something out or they want to get out from under the debt.
Yeah.
But you also have a ton of deals where you've got heirs
Yeah.
who for one reason or another, like most people, have not really done what they're supposed to do
Hmm.
in terms of conveying assets from generation to generation.
Hmm.
And so they don't know how to sell the property.
Yeah.
And they can in some cases, actually, in a few of the cases that we did together, they shouldn't be selling the property because the title is so messed up
Yeah.
and so many things are happening and so many heirs are involved and it requires a little bit of a nuance
Yeah.
for you to actually get the deals done. So when you're telling people lead with empathy in your team, you're actually solving a problem that nobody else can solve.
Yeah. And I think like yes, right. But I think like the other thing too is like these people we are not the first person that they brought this problem to. We are generally the last.
Interesting.
Right? So, like, they've talked to a realtor, they've talked to another investor, they've talked like that marriage case from '76.
Yeah,
He had brought that, I think, to two other investors. They
really.
couldn't figure it out. So like they're like, hey, listen, like we need help. And so we're like, okay. And I think really at the end of the day is like make like, hey, listen, we know you're in this situation. This is what we're gonna do. Like one of the company values is communication oriented. Like we have to communicate internally and externally nonstop to make sure that people stay in the loop. And I think being able to lead with empathy is like saying like, hey, listen, I know you're in a situation that's uncomfortable, but like we're still gonna treat you with dignity. You're still just like anybody else, and we're going to help you get from point A to point B. Where I
There's
think
no shame in being in the situation that you're in.
no, no, listen, like like that's why we're here, right? So, like is because people will also tell us like, hey, listen, like I've talked to other people and they just make me feel like they'll talk down to me or they make me feel like my time is worthless and
How could you
um
be so stupid for doing
yeah,
this?
yeah,
Why did you let it get this way? What have
yeah,
you been doing for the last 50 years?
yeah,
Whatever the case may be.
yeah, and it's like, where does that get us?
Nowhere.
Right, and nobody's making money on those comments. And so so yeah, I think like again, and the thing is there's there's a lot of people that need help. And so our goal is just to try to help as many of them that we can, and obviously get paid while doing it. But
It's interesting that approach. I can't remember what book it was that I pulled it up. It's probably some Malcolm Gladwell book,
mhm,
right? Um, I love that guy. But the interesting part, he was talking about in one of his books, and I wish I could remember which one it was, the medical malpractice claims
mhm,
against doctors.
mhm,
And he said that the doctors that had the most lawsuits against them
mhm.
were the ones with the shittiest bedside manner.
Oh, for sure.
And so, like, doctors who would screw up but had a great bedside manner. They were like, "Oh, I'm sorry, this happened. Here's
Mhm,
where we're at. Here's what we're gonna do." But they were compassionate and they were empathetic and they were great bedside manner. Got sued so much less
yeah,
than the asshole doctors
yeah,
who just had an attitude and didn't want to give attention. And I think that's an important distinction that you've got. What you're talking
yeah,
about.
for sure. Arrogance is expensive.
It is very expensive.
you
It's
know
very expensive. I
um
learned that the hard way.
yeah, it's and listen, they're
I
not
used to
fun.
be arrogant. Now I'm just a dick. Right. Yes. Expand it.
We love what we do. I think, we're having a ton of fun building a business, but it's not all rainbows and butterflies. Like I said, this is the toughest year that I've ever had in business. But like, I also understand like what it's going to take to get out of it. I understand what we have to do. Um, and people, if you want to be successful, it is going to be demanding. And unless you're some like genius 19-year-old that like makes $500,000 on drop shipping and like is wholesaling things on Zillow on
Or
TikTok,
comes up
like
with some sort of app or some shit, and you get
yeah,
bought out
like
for $50 million
yeah, but
dollars
like
just because you fell into it.
the rest of us were putting our right leg on and our left leg on and pulling our pants up, like it's just what it is. And so patience has been an extremely good friend of mine.
And really what you're experiencing, I mean, you're talking about essentially getting punched in the face, right, this
Yeah.
year, right? And it's not that business sucks, it's that you're going through growing pains. One of the I was part of this coaching program for attorneys, right?
Hmm.
And one of the things that they said was, "You're gonna start your business, you're gonna start building it, and then when you hit your first million or you hit a certain threshold, you're essentially gonna be tearing apart everything you fucking built
Hmm.
and start all over again."
Yeah.
And it sounds like that's kind of where you're at. Is like you hit the apex, right? You hit not the total apex, but you hit a top line
Yeah.
that was strong. And now you're like, okay, now I want to grow to the next level, and you're restructuring everything to get there.
I we are growing from hustling to business operation, right? So like we're now, you know, this now requires business acumen, not just raw hustle.
Which is where they say most businesses fail within the first 5 years.
Yeah,
This is where they fail
yeah, yeah,
because
100%.
they can't go out of the hustle into the operational standpoint. They can't formalize and proceduralize their operations.
Dude, listen, the hustle is addicting, but like you can only hustle for so long.
Mhm.
So,
You need a
so
machine.
yeah, so again, we've tore everything down. We're getting like we're putting SOPs in place for hiring. We're putting SOPs in place for accounting. We're putting SOP. I mean, just the SOPs that we're putting in place for accounting is like mind-boggling. And listen, we don't. It's not
Say
like
more about that.
we don't pay like it's not like we pay a couple $100 a month to our accountant. Like we pay a full salary for a firm to do our accounting, and they still don't do it right. So like we're going in there and like a lot of our stuff was set up by class, and so we want to switch to projects and like how vendors get paid, right? So like instead of us just selling everybody, it's like, no, you have to send us an invoice. It has to go to this email. It will be approved. There's going to be, it would be, whatever, net 5 terms,
Right.
or just depending on the vendor, like net 10, net 30, whatever it is.
Right.
And that's the way it is. You know what I mean? So if you want
This is how we're gonna do
yeah,
it.
this is how
Otherwise,
we're
we're
gonna
not
do
doing
it.
business.
And if you want to do business with us, then this is how we're gonna do it, because we've spent just countless hours going through accounting stuff. And so like, and now we can see like,
Just trying to figure out who the fuck you zelled.
right. No, dude, it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
And so like we are, so like now we're gonna start tracking things by project, which is gonna give us like a more true visibility on like what our actual profitability is on a deal. Like even, like systems, for the systems we have set up within Salesforce, like a transaction can't be converted to close one unless it has all of the expenses accounted for, all of the documentation associated with that transaction, and like one other thing, and then you can switch it to and the updated closing date, and then you can switch it to closed one. And
Closed one meaning it's
like it's been funded.
Got it.
So like,
so how do you incentivize your team to make sure they do that?
We pay them really well. Like, we don't. It's not like, and being incentivized to do a job you're hired for is like, I'm over that. Like,
yeah,
we did that for a while. Not doing that again. Like, we are.
Do you have their KPIs matched to it? Key performance indicators, by the way.
Yeah, no, we are. So we're in the process of developing KPIs for the transaction coordination department. So we have the state now where we're at. Like in a future state, I want AC, Dispo, and transactions to all create revenue, and so we put models in place for all of that. And
AC, Dispo, and
so acquisitions, the ones who go out and talk to sellers,
right?
Dispositions, the ones who go out and work with the investors, and then transaction coordination is the one who actually liaisons with title companies, attorneys, sellers, buyers, etc. And then we just opened up an operations role that we're going to be training one of our TCs on to bring them into the operations piece, to handle accounting, vendor payments, deal with court hearings, short sales, evictions, so that the other TC can just focus on processing the deal, getting title clean, like the more execution task focused things. Whereas, and so anyway, so we've separated those. And so sales has always been kind of.
Is that what you've got Talar to do? She wanted her to do the transactional piece, just to roll through that.
She's going to be doing the execution piece, and then Alex will be moving into a more operations piece. And so we're kind of like working out what that looks like. But yeah, we're having to tear all this down. And then my wife Glee, she's helping us with hiring. She's helping us with reporting. She's helping us with more HR related stuff.
Yeah.
Sam and I are working on acquisitions. He's working on it a little bit more than I am. And then I'm working with one of the guys that we have on our team. His name is Jack, and just kind of he started in acquisitions, realized he was horrible, and then we moved him over to dispositions, and he's been great. And so like just like dispositions that we've never showed love to, but we have all these buyers on our list. So now we're organizing them by like where they're buying. So if you don't buy it into Page, you're not going to get a property into Page. So like now we're like starting to organize all this stuff. And so I'm having him start to like reach out to like managing brokers, commercial brokers, and start pulling more off market deals or pocket listings, and then just connecting them with buyers. And so it costs us nothing to get these deals. And, ideally, like he'll start having a quota, like, he'll need to bring in like whatever, 30, 50, 80K.
So he's calling master brokers or brokers and saying, hey, do you have any pocket listings?
Do you have any pocket listings? And if you don't, you buy off market properties, right? So, and then acquisitions is just taking the inbound calls. And then I'm, working specifically on marketing to figure out exactly like how we can get more predictive and more prescriptive in like what our messaging is and what our conversions will look like on these channels. So we're just doing one or two channels. We're doing cold calling and mailer, and then eventually we'll get back into PPC. But like, I don't know, master one, right? Like, and like doing it for 3 months and getting good results is not mastering it.
No.
Like doing it for a year or doing it for, 6 months is the baseline, like, and knowing what you're going to get. But like, I don't know.
Because in 3 months, you're not going to hit every single scenario.
No, but there's also seasons, right? Like people act much differently in the beginning of the year than they do in winter,
back to school,
fall.
Right. Yeah.
So, being able to like understand like how our marketing's working. If we do need to change out our piece, does the number need to change? Does the color need to change? So like we're playing with that. It's like right now we're going back and forth between pink and yellow mailers, just to figure out which ones hit more.
And what are you sending both out and trying to see which one comes back?
In the next 2 weeks, we'll send out like 20,000 pieces of the pink, and then after that, we'll send out 20,000 pieces of the yellow, and it's like figuring out, do they work?
Why don't you send them at the same time, 10 and 10, and then give different numbers?
Um, because it's expensive.
Got it.
Because we can only afford so much, marketing spend per week, and so
Because then it costs more per mailer because you're only printing 10 of them as opposed to 20.
yeah, that's another thing. Like going back in and beating up these vendors that we work with, we spend so much money with them. It's like, hey, I need better deals. Like we had negotiated good deals in the beginning, and then we changed the mailer piece. And I looked at it last night, and I was like, 70 cents. So I
What
called
was it
Brian.
supposed to be?
What it's not what it's supposed to be. It's what it's gonna be.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
gonna. I got to get at least 10 cent savings on that, dude. It's a big postcard. Right now, I'm using pressure sealed, envelopes. Like Brian, I spend 6 figures with you every year. Fuck out of here.
Right.
Give me a better deal.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like
Because there's somebody out there who'll be hungry to take that deal.
for sure, right? And like, and then again, there's also something to be said about the relationships. Like they've helped us in like certain areas sometimes, but yeah, I think I'm really excited about the end of the year, and I think based like at the end of the year, we're definitely going to do like a massive kind of post mortem of what happened this year, and um, say, hey, listen, this is what we need to be doing next year, because the first 2 years in business, I was working to live, and then the next 2 years, I was like things were okay. I was able to pay for a couple of our first couple of properties, my wedding, shit
Right.
like thing like and then we didn't have to worry about it. Like it felt good. And then this year, like I said, we've just been taking a beating, and it just made me realize like I'm not in a business to just like Sam and I didn't build a business to just like
Get a job.
get a job. And so I think that's kind of like been a big takeaway for us this year is like, I don't want a job, I want a business. And then, like I said, like I'd much rather spend time building relationships like attorneys like yourself and private lenders
Right.
and like just things that I want to do to help myself grow as a business person, as an individual. And so, you know, just having those things in mind, like those things are important, but they're not a priority.
Mhm.
So
Wow. That's everything in a nutshell.
that's everything. That's a wrap.
That's a wrap. That's a wrap. No, it's one of the things we talked about was how so many people come in, especially these big gurus, right?
Mhm.
And they talk about how much money anybody can make in real estate, and it's the greatest thing you can ever do. Fact. However,
Mhm.
what I appreciated you doing today is talking about those times when you get hit in the dick, right? Like you're hustling, you're doing, you've done everything, you've done good things, you made some mistakes, blah blah blah.
Sure.
But then now you're going to the next level, and as you've expanded your parts and expanded your things you're doing,
Mhm.
you're now feeling those growth pains and those struggles. And how do you restructure from a I'm hustling, fix and flips, deal to deal,
Mhm.
to actually we're building a machine.
Yeah, and listen, like anybody who ever wants to talk about it, like you asked me before the pod, you were like, "Are you okay being this vulnerable?" And I'm like, "Dude, this is fucking therapy. Like, it's just good to talk about this
Just
stuff
ignore the
sometimes."
cameras that are here,
Yeah,
right?
and it's like, and it is right. Like, I think when you're working as much as we do, and you're thinking about as much as stuff about the stuff that we have, it's just like sometimes it is nice just to talk about it. But I know there's people out there that are watching this that are, absolutely going through the same shit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's tough. That's just what it is. If it were easy, everybody'd be doing it.
Right.
The easy things aren't worth doing. So
Would you drop what would be your advice? Like, do you have one nugget or one thing that you would tell people and say, listen, this is what you're going to do in real estate or whatever you're building out?
mhm,
What would you say your a core thing they should take away from it? Like,
I think it's like an adage old as time, but it's just consistency, like doing it. Everybody finds an excuse not to do shit. So, and I used to find an excuse not to learn Spanish. And then like the one thing, I don't know, I have this like switch in my head that like once if something hits and my just like that flip goes the other like I'll find time. Right. Like one was like my health. Like I go to the gym a lot. I'm like I don't go to the gym to be like buff and like get a six pack. I go to the gym to like take care of my body and on the inside of my body.
mhm.
Because I don't know, like a year ago, like I had went and got like one of those like super blood tests, like take all your things, and
Right.
they're like, dude, you're like you need to like slow down, like otherwise, you're gonna be pre-diabetic, like your cholesterol's high. And I was like, what? My wife is like freaking out. So she's like,
Were you heavier?
no, I was eating like shit. I'd just come back from the wedding. I was eating like shit.
Mm.
Like I had like gotten in super shape like before the wedding, like I don't know, unhealthy. And then I got back and I was eating like Hostess donuts, not donuts. I was eating bad like, pizza every night. And then I like went and got it checked like recently, and they're like, "Hey, like your cholesterol is still high." And I was like, "Oh," it kind of like made me like rethink health too. I'm like, I feel fine though. I was like, I don't eat like shit. I eat pretty clean. Um,
They say why?
I don't know. I mean,
Just curious.
it's
I don't
tiger
put
blood.
not put your HIPAA shit out there, right? But yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's just I don't know. I'll be okay. But it was like one of those things. Like when they told me that the first time, like I was like, oh, working out is now a priority in my life. It's no longer like I'm working out. It's like it's just a lifestyle. And like this past vacation I had with my wife's family, like when I couldn't understand things, and we've been together for 5 years, married for one, and
How'd you guys meet?
actually the guy who used to own our office building, we bought our office building. He used to own it. It's his wife's niece, and she has an Airbnb in Puerto Rico. And he like showed me a picture of her, and I was like, I need that. So then like
The Airbnb. You need the Airbnb.
Airbnb, but like no, I was like, and I reached out to her, and I was like, "You're like, what's up?" And we started talking. I flew down there after 2 months. But yeah, Glee's amazing. She's she's my partner. Like I couldn't do all this without her. To be honest, she's like an amazing sounding board. Um, and she's like, dude, she puts up with this. Like, be in bed. My phone rings and it's a mailer. Oh, this is Dain. and and she doesn't, and like she doesn't.
She just rolls with
She
it.
just rolls with it. Like
It's hard to find women who understand the business part of it.
Yeah, and she doesn't complain, and it's gotten to the point now, like she's very organically kind of worked her way into our business, where like she's helping out with a lot of things. She used to work at a massive university,
Oh,
yeah, doing like government aid distribution, so like funneling around millions and millions of dollars, and so she understands process pretty well.
right.
And so she's just been super instrumental, and like when now we're buying properties, she's like running the crews. So she's no bullshit. Like
No.
no, I've never been on the receiving end of it, but I've seen it.
Latinas are like Middle Eastern women. You don't fuck with them.
No. I wouldn't even.
You don't fuck with them. They know how to manage shit and get shit done.
Did you see that meme? It was like when you did you see like or it was on TikTok, and like, obviously my TikTok algorithm, you can see what it is, but like if you see a white guy getting yelled at by a Latina, don't interrupt. That's where he wants to be.
Yes.
So it's like it's just kind of like she's like I said, yeah, she's just been like I said, super instrumental. She's been super on top of like getting things done that I'm not good at. Filing paperwork, making sure our LLC registration is up to date. Like it's like talking to tenants, tenant placement, and she's got it down pat. But trying to like think back what like we got sidetracked from
Your health.
yeah. So the like being in front of like her family and not being able to speak Spanish, I was like, I don't know, like it was 2 weeks ago. Like that was like a thing for me. I was like,
So what are you doing to learn Spanish?
so I take lessons organize it through a website called Super Prof. Yeah, PROF. The tutor she's actually in Chicago.
Okay.
And I do it twice a week. And so I tried like booking like 4 tutors, like just to like see what I wanted, because this is going to be a long-term thing for me. So
Yeah.
like, I want to try them out. I booked 4, 1 showed up. So I was like, she won by default.
There we go.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So, and it's so funny. She's no bullshit. I try to like make a joke, and it's like she does not laugh. So I'm just like, so now I'm just like, all right, cool. I'm just not gonna have any personality until I can actually speak Spanish.
Right.
But yeah, it's like it goes back to like time, right? Like, oh, I'm busy. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. It's like
You make time for it.
busy is being busy is for fools, right? It's like it's about, are you productive, right? And so like, are you productive with your time, and do you respect your time? Like, do you respect your calendar? I tell my guys in the office all the time, like they'll be driving from the south side to the north side now in one day, and I'm like, do you have no respect for your calendar? Like, why would you do that? And they're like, well, because I need to go on the appointment. I was like, well, then batch your appointments on one day so you can have half the day in the office and half the day out in the field. Or like you're talking to a seller and they're giving you the runaround, like be straight up with them, because otherwise you're not respecting your time. And when you don't respect your time, you're wasting my time too. And I'm not here out of charity. Like I want to build this. And so like that's kind of, like the culture in the office is like, hey, take yourself seriously. This is a serious place of work, and like we're really here to solve problems. And so if you're just going to run around and not do things, then you're not welcome here. And so that's the we've attracted the right people now. So now we have people in our office. Like we have a great crew, and now, like I said, it's so clear what the next step is. So I'm excited, but it definitely has not been fun getting here.
So 5 years from now, what do you see it?
5 years from now, I'd love to be living in spending my time between San Diego and Puerto Rico.
Really?
Yeah. So probably buy some land in Puerto Rico and build, and then go. I don't know, maybe buy like I don't know, buy something in San Diego. I spend a lot more time with my parents. Like they're getting older. I want to spend more time
Your
with
parents are San Diego,
they're in San Francisco.
San Francisco. That's very different than San Diego.
It's an hour flight. It's the same
Got it.
state.
Got it.
Yeah, right. Like right now, like we're across the
Yeah, it's
US.
5 hours to get there.
Yeah.
If it's 4.5 hour flight or 4 hour flight plus an hour to the airport, hour from the airport. I mean,
Yeah, it's not.
8 hours before you get there.
Yeah, exactly. And so I want to spend more time with them. I want to spend more time with my wife's family. I'd love to have the business be autonomous, like within the next 2 years. I think 2 years is realistic. I actually even think 2 years is pretty aggressive. I have a screensaver on my computer that says, "Be a pro, um, be a pro, be on time, retirement option by age 42." So that's 4 years away.
Be a pro, be on time,
Mm-hmm.
retired 42.
Yeah, simple, But yeah, like that's I think that's the goal, and we'll see where things go. But I mean, I love the real estate game, no question, because you can do so much. Right, there's like it's not like you're not limited to like even if you work for a big company like Microsoft, like you can only sell so many suite products of Microsoft, Azure, cloud, Windows. Like whereas real estate, it's like you can buy debt, you can sell houses, you can sell loans, you can do rentals, you can fix and flip, you can do
Wholesaling.
like it's endless. And we're just we're in a position like our core business is to generate leads. So like we're pretty much drinking at the fountain of youth of
Opportunity.
opportunity. And so it'd be foolish for us not to do that.
Would you be expanding the business into those lines that you wanted to do, that you tried to do this year, where just kind of spread yourself too thin?
I think like it'd be super fun, right? I've been so traumatized by fix and flipping over the past 12 months that I'm kind of over it. I would like to get into like more industrial stuff. Like I'd love to do like warehousing. I'd love to do like data centers are hot right now, but I mean I like them because they're fairly low
Maintenance.
I want to get into like really I'm a big fan of the niche stuff. So like cell phone towers, like things with I don't know, freeways, like just random ass right now I don't know anything about them. I just know that they're there. But like,
There's something with cell phone towers. We're not sure exactly what it is, but there's something there we can do with that.
Bruh, you put it on top of a building, you buy a piece of land, like, or even like buying agricultural land, renting it out to, I mean, solar's taking, obviously it's not at the top of the list for energy sources right now with the administration, but like, I think that also has an opportunity. Um, like coal, like, yeah, I again, like, I don't know. I know that there's opportunity and I think I know where to look, but I mean, I obviously don't know what I don't know. So I think right now it's just let's focus on wholesaling. Let's focus on business building. Let's focus on marketing. Once we get those, then we can start. But I think just also like being aware of stuff like of what I like and being aware of what's happening is going to bring those opportunities to me just naturally. Like life has a
Yeah.
funny way of bringing things into your orbit that it feels like you should have, or you
Got to be
feel
open to it.
yeah, or like maybe like it feels that you're like mature enough to handle. But yeah, I think like I said, just one step at a time. And
What do you see the next 12 to 18 months looking like for the real estate market?
I am not super confident in the real estate market right now. I so I set up a ton of notifications on like Zillow and Redfin, like set up a filter on your email if you do that because they're annoying. But and I am constantly seeing price drops, price drops, price drops, price drops. Um, I don't know. I think there's just going to be way more properties. I don't think that there's way more properties for sale. I think there's way few people buying. I think that I think the money in the market right now is people who are first time home buyers are or like dumb money. or like people who are just getting great deals.
Right. Or investors.
Yeah, and like even investors though, like like I have we had a property that we were trying to sell. Like we had a 30K spread on it. I think we made like $5,000 just because and it was a 2 unit in Waukegan, and I was like, I don't know why this is not moving. Waukegan's a hot area, super
Right.
hot area, super stabilized rent area.
Yeah.
So I think people are just kind of like, I don't know if they're necessarily nervous. I think everybody's tapped. People don't have money, right? Like people are like, they had money, then they didn't have any money, so they use credit. Now they don't have any credit, and now they're like,
Fuck.
So I think we're gonna see a slowdown. I don't know that housing prices. I don't think housing prices are gonna drop. Like I think the window after COVID, like we're never going back to that time. Like that ship has sailed. Do I
Where the
think?
prices crashed.
Yeah, I think like prices will soften up. But like I don't think
So
it's gonna
longer
be.
market times.
I think we're at the beginning of another like 10-year run. I think like over the next 18 months, like the market's going to soften up. I think like prices are going to drop a little bit. Interest rates and the Fed obviously have a lot to do with all of this, but I think that I think we're gonna see things even out and drop probably over the next 18 months, and I think we're gonna head into like another 10-year run of like
Growth.
housing going up, or not, maybe not going up, but like stabilizing. Like right now, I think we're in 2014.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I think
Not 6.
no, like it just doesn't make sense. Like I don't, because the new mortgage-backed security is like rents, right? And like the more homeowners that you have in the market, if the interest rates drop, the less renters you'll have. And so like they're not like these companies that are buying like BlackRock or whatever, they're buying like thousands of homes, and they're taking these rents and they're packaging these rents and then reselling these rents. Like they're not going to sell off these
Which is crazy because they're short term.
I know, but I feel like I feel like, and again, I'm definitely like no IB guy, but I feel like they're just taking these properties and like they're renting them out. Like they don't really give a shit if they lose whatever, $100 a
Valuation.
month, right? Because like they're buying this for what they're going to be worth in 20 years. Not not what they're worth today. So I think like we saw the market shoot up, everything like old prices are gone. The days of a $250,000 house
Gone.
It's gone. Like houses are going to start getting in the 350s and the 450s, and then eventually, like your normal house is going to cost you $500,000.
How can people afford that?
It's for the government to figure out, or maybe not. That's for the private sector actually to figure out, right? Like how can we create more jobs? And I think a lot of that's going to happen through like this whole AI boom. Like the amount of like AI is going to be a massive job enabler. Like people are scared of it taking its job. It's like no, it's going to make you more productive. And like if we can get more stuff done, then people are going to get paid more.
Like, it's totally for. I mean, we've been using it.
Yeah.
Same way, just to increase our productivity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm working on I follow a guy named Nick Perry online who's like just like going after it. Big wholesaler, big nationwide wholesaler, and he's like talks about using AI. And so like right now I'm building like an AI, or I'm building a database. I'm using AI to tell AI how to build the database. So like basically, like AI is building its own AI. So like I basically have given it instructions, and then it sets up the database, it sets up the infrastructure, and like I'm basically the goal is to like take all of our data and like have our data be cleaned and updated and scrubbed, and then it spits it back out through our system. And then that way it's like a little bit more future proof than having our VA do it.
So you're uploading the data you're getting about the bunch of the leads, filtering it through this AI that cleans it up to put it into a database that then reports and analyzes it to give you the data that you need.
Right. So like right now we get, whatever, 120,000 leads every quarter. Each of those leads have a rank 1 through 5. So then I can now see like how many of the leads changed from rank 4 and 5 to rank 1. How many changed from rank 2 to rank 5? How many fell off the list and how many new ones are on there? So now I can see like the change in where people fall on these ranks, and rank being like the most predicted to sell versus 5 being the least predicted to sell. So now I can see like how many leads are going to be like what was the change, and I can start going after the people that were on last quarter's list but are now higher on next quarter's list
because they're closer to sale.
Because they're close. No, just because like they're predicted to close, right? Like it could be anything. It could be credit card debt. It could be vacant owner, could be whatever. But like that's how we're starting to like use AI to do stuff. But like, dude, we use AI right now to comp stuff. Like if you go into ChatGPT and like have it comp something, it is incredibly accurate.
Comp
Like compare, do a
comparisons.
comparable, right? Like run
Okay.
a comp against like I was comping a property in Wonder Lake, like because I want to see like did what I offer him too much, and what I did offer him was too much, and it showed me that it's like, oh, this is where you should have been, and we only made 10 G's on this deal, so like, and like where it had me at would have had us at 30.
Holy shit.
It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. So like, yeah,
So now you incorporate it into your sales staff or into your acquisition staff to actually
yeah.
use
We
it?
got like a group account for the sales team, and like they use AI to like do that stuff, and I can also like look at all their search
They're
history.
actually doing the work.
Yeah, well, like, or just like listen. I don't care if they don't do the work if they're being efficient with the search.
Are you doing ChatGPT?
I love it. Yeah. So like they just released 5, but like if you're still using ChatGPT to write emails, that's cool. But
You're
like
so
it's
not even using it for what it needs to be
well, it's
done.
just like now it's like it can do so much. Like dude, you can build an app, right? Like there's a lovable.dev and then Supabase are like the 2 systems that you can use to do like the building of the app and like all the infrastructure and how it works and set it. And then you can set it up with paywalls and all this other stuff. And then you can use another agent to market it. It's like you can. My goal is to have like to create a business through AI that just runs on AI that makes money every month.
How did you learn all the AI stuff? You just
Just did it.
twiddling, figuring with it, or
Like
did you
it's
actually
like
do
this.
an
This is what's crazy about it is like people are like, oh, how'd you learn it? It's like I literally just typed my idea into the chat bot. Like I want to make money. I want to make $10,000 a month, and I want it to. I want you to give me 2 ideas on how to do it, and I want you to show me like what softwares I need to do it, and how. And like, dude, it's gonna get the hang of it. Like, and eventually, like, you learn how to write prompts. So I took a course called Coursive,
Yes, I
Coursive.
saw that. So you took that.
Yeah. And it teaches you like how to write prompts and things like that. So like then I was like,
So
oh,
it's
okay,
worth it.
yeah, absolutely, yeah. And
30 days.
yeah, they did like a 30-day challenge, and they put you on some recurring subscription, which you can turn off, but like I haven't because I'm lazy.
Right. You haven't
And
gotten there. That's important, not priority.
yeah, exactly. That's important, not priority. And so yeah, so like it is easy to use. Like people just got to do it. Like people want to be on TikTok all day, and I get it. Like I love TikTok, but
That doesn't make money.
I mean it makes money, but not
Not
for
for
the people
you.
watching it.
Right. Not for us.
Yeah. For the people making the content, for sure. But you know, you could be a watcher or a doer.
Right. Right.
That goes for TikTok and life.
Very true.
But
Very
it's
true.
but yeah, I think that's kind of how things have all
Well, this has been
started
a
evolving.
very productive podcast.
No, I absolutely appreciate.
I am we're totally chopping this up into like 3 different podcasts. We'll just tell them that you don't shower or change your clothes from month to month or something. Neither do I.
Okay.
Same bow tie,
Yeah.
3 months in a row.
Exactly. Yeah. Amazing. We just sat here in the room.
That's
There's
it.
a bunch of pizza boxes over
That's
here.
it for 3. Right, exactly.
Yeah.
For 3 we haven't left. There's
Yeah.
a bucket for each of us,
Yeah.
you know.
Exactly. Brutal.
um 2 bald guys in a bow tie, or 2 bald brokers in a bow tie. Mahmoud Faisal Khatib, bow tie attorney. Dain Laverty with Property Pals. Thank you very much, and we'll see you guys later.